I mean, the more and more I think about it, the WWE Hall of Fame gets more and more of a joke each year. And I was just browsing through the list of Hall of Fames, and there were just so many names, and I'm shocked. I wonder who sits around and picks who they're going to put in the Hall of Fame. What a fucking joke. Finally, I'm here to talk about wrestling. I caught like 30 seconds of Monday Night Raw last night, and I just so happened to see the introductions, two of them for the WWE Hall of Fame, the 2012 class of the Hall of Fame. And on that list is Edge, Adam Copeland. I did like him a lot as a wrestler. He's multiple tag team champion, multiple world heavyweight champion, WWE champion, whatever the hell you want to decipher the two titles. Multiple, I think he was an Intercontinental champion as well as a European champion. I did like Edge a lot, but as I was watching, and when I think about it, all of my favorite Edge matches, they're all gimmick matches. So they pretty much made his career. Now, does he belong in the Hall of Fame? Maybe, but definitely not right now. If we're putting Edge in the Hall of Fame, let's put Tommy Dreamer in the Hall of Fame for everything he did for ECW. Think about that. He pretty much was Mr. ECW as soon as he got over with the "He's Hardcore" chants. When fans finally started supporting him, he really was the heart and soul of ECW. And if you're not going to put him in, then why not put Paul Heyman in? I mean, he was the mastermind. He was the owner, the guy who ran everything in ECW. Some say, including myself, say that he is the guy that also brought it down. But still, ECW was such an important part of wrestling that these little fucking PG kids have no idea what it is. Put ECW in the Hall of Fame. How's that? ECW. Where the fuck is Ravishing Rick Rude in that WWF Hall of Fame? Rick Rude, oh my God, had so many great feuds back in the 80s in the WWF with the Ultimate Warrior. That feud with Jake the Snake Roberts was great when he used to come out with Jake Roberts' wife on his pants. I was a little kid watching that, and those were just great feuds. Also great matches with the Great Muta, Sting, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And let's not forget, Rick Rude is the only person in wrestling history, only single guy. Granted, he wasn't a wrestler, but no one else ever appeared on a Monday Night Raw and a Monday Nitro in the same night. And Rick fucking Rude did it. And he's not in the Hall of Fame. He shouldn't be just for that, but he should be in the Hall of Fame. Another guy, Owen Hart. Why is he not in the Hall of Fame? You pretty much fucking killed him with that bullshit gimmick with the Blue Blazer just because he didn't want to do that GTV scam with Deborah. Put him in the Hall of Fame. Let's not talk about the Blue Blazer as he started that in WWF, which I actually was a fan of as a little kid, believe it or not. But then we got the New Foundation with him and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, which was a pretty cool, exciting tag team. Owen Hart was always exciting in the ring. So why not? Why not? Why the fuck not? You got the King of Hearts, the Slammy Award-winning Owen Hart, the Black Heart, the Soul Survivor, the Nugget. Why not the Hall of Famer? Why not the Hall of Fame Owen Hart? I mean, Owen Hart's feud with Bret Hart, that WrestleMania match they had where he actually beat Bret, was an amazing match. And then I thought that it would have been great if they put the title on him, if they had him beat Bret at that SummerSlam. I think it was a steel cage match, maybe SummerSlam 94. Sting's not in the Hall of Fame. Well, because he never signed with the WWE and he's in TNA. I guess I could understand that, but Sting should be in. There's just so many guys that should be in. Eddie Guerrero died, so they put him in the Hall of Fame. Why didn't they do that for Owen Hart? Granted, Eddie Guerrero was a great wrestler. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Now that Macho Man Randy Savage passed away, unfortunately, God rest his soul, they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame this year, finally. Oh, because he died, they're going to put Macho Man in the Hall of Fame, which is bullshit. He should have been in there 5 to 10 years ago, in my opinion. Maybe if he was still wrestling 10 years ago, yeah. So he should have been put in 5 years ago, at least. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Jake the Snake Roberts. I'm not sure if he's in, but he should be too. He's another guy. Great. He was great. The whole Trust Me thing with the snake, when he brought out the Cobra, everything before that, after that. I mean, he's another one. It's just a shame that drugs got a hold of him. But like, there's just so many guys. The list just goes on and on. Is the Honky Tonk Man in the Hall of Fame? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that he is. I was looking at the list. I don't think Honky Tonk Man, I don't know if someone beat his record, but at one point he was the longest running Intercontinental Champion. When guys like him had that title mattered. That's what they're trying to do with Cody Rhodes now, but it's just still not working for me 100%. I mean, Cody's all right, but come on. Wrestling, maybe I'm just getting too old for it now or what, but wrestling just, each week, it sucks. The Brooklyn Brawler, maybe. I mean, how could you not consider the Brooklyn Brawler? He was in there to make other guys look good. That's what his sole purpose was. Why not put him in? Brooklyn Brawler, Barry Horowitz, they were like the ultimate jobbers of the 90s, maybe even the late 80s. I don't think I've ever seen, well, Barry Horowitz, they did that whole angle where he won a couple matches, but for the most part, Barry Horowitz and the Brooklyn Brawler, you know, they were important parts of wrestling too. It's Brian Pillman. I mean, this guy had all the tools. He had a great person. He had great personalities. Injuries just plagued him his entire career, but Brian Pillman was great. I liked him in WCW. Was Flying Brian, and then him and Austin as the Hollywood Blondes. They were an awesome tag team. The Hollywood Blondes were a great tag team. I absolutely loved them. I loved this feud with Austin and WWF that night with the whole gun thing. That was great. I mean, picture seeing that in wrestling now. I mean, the Hart Foundation. Brian Pillman just... I was really sad the day that I found out he died. He's actually one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. My band even has a song named Brian Pillman. Nothing to do with him, but we just named it. I mean, maybe one thing you could criticize is that a lot of the guys that I'm bringing up right now never got to main event level. There were a lot of mid-carders, but still they were vital parts of wrestling, pre-Attitude Era, early 90s, late 1980s when I first started watching. Why aren't the Nasty Boys in there? We're talking about one of the greatest tag teams of all time. The Nasty Boys are not in the Hall of Fame. We're talking about more managers. The Genius is not in the Hall of Fame. He should definitely be put in the Hall of Fame. Maybe they'll put the whole Poffo family in, and he'll be a part of it. But another guy, Rick Martel. I mean, his tag team partner, Tito Santana, when they were Strike Force, is already in the Hall of Fame. Why isn't Rick Martel? Rick Martel was great. I loved the model gimmick that he had. I absolutely loved it. And let's not forget, Rick Martel went to WCW in the late 1990s, and I think he was the television champion. He had a pretty decent feud with Booker T. They had some great matches. Maybe it's just that these guys will get there in time, but the fact that they're not in right now, and then you have guys like Austin, who just retired, he was Attitude Era, is in already. The fact that Edge is going in now, the fact that Drew Carey is in the Hall of Fame is just, it's a joke. That's all I could say is it's just a fucking joke. When they're going to put Brock in, is Brock going to go in? He better not. Brock better not. Maybe a guy who also should go in, maybe Goldberg. Would I put him in? I don't know. He was a huge part of WCW. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. There's going to be definitely some more. Hopefully I could get around to talking about wrestling more, but the world of wrestling these days is just pretty sad if you're a longtime wrestling fan like myself. But upcoming MMA videos, definitely going to be talking about the steroid scandal that I see in MMA. You just look at certain fucking fighters and see that they're on steroids. Subscribe, talk shit, like, put the thumb down if you don't like it, flame away. Peace.